It's two for Tuesday. The other day I was looking at JW Greenbaum's channel and he showed a knife that was made by Finch. And it was a very unusual knife for the company. It was what I'm going to call sleek and slender. So we had a few comments going back and forth. And I decided I wanted to show some of the knives that I have that are sleek and slender because that's just an aesthetic that I found to be very pleasing, and I really like knives that have that aesthetic. They don't have to be the most practical, they don't have to be a knife that you're going to carry every day, but they're just beautiful. So first I want to show this Best Tech. This is a Best Tech Swordfish. This knife was only $42. It's a flipper in D2 tool steel. If you just look at the lines of this knife is just beautiful. Just that shape, there's just something about that shape that just, I can't get enough of it. So, I've had several other Best Tech knives, and what I found is, in my experience, their D2 has been run just a little bit on the soft side. They haven't held an edge as good as D2 when it's done really well. But it's not horrible either. So I use them as a beater knife. This one hasn't been carried. I do have another one that has a tanto point that I use as a beater knife. It's a great scraper or just anything you have to cut, and I'll keep it sharp on the belt sander. I don't waste a lot of time sharpening it and getting it just perfect. You know, a little bit of a cruder edge is good, and it suits the use. It's a rough use knife. But I just love the lines of this knife. So let me set that down here. And then this other one is a zero tolerance. It's titanium on this side. It's an 0452 CF. I think you can read that there. I've had this knife probably for 7 or 8 years. And this knife is just beautiful. Can you see the resemblance between these two? If I put them down side by side, as far as the shape and the aesthetic, they're quite similar. This one has a carbon fiber side and a titanium side. This is a titanium frame lock with a stainless steel insert, where the Best Tech is a liner lock. Either way, these two knives have a very similar aesthetic. Even though they are in a much different price range, their materials are much different, they do have that same look to them. Now, other knives that I have that you could say have a sleek and slender look, I think these Enduras have. This is an Endura 4. These have a sleek and slender look too. Very different aesthetic. It's not the same. There's something about this particular aesthetic that just does it for me. But this isn't bad. You know, this is still that sleek and slender. Now, these are all around 4-inch blades, and one thing that you get with a blade like this, even though it has a sleek and slender look, you still have a nice fat handle and a tall handle, and it really fills out your grip and is very comfortable. This one I don't even feel the pocket clip in. The zero tolerance, the pocket clip kind of gets me right in here, so I might look into changing that. And on the Spyderco is pretty good. The pocket clip doesn't bother me. This one is a special edition. You see, this is in CPM 35VN. And this is one of the TNP limited editions. This is number 406 of 1009. Another knife for me that fits in that same category is my Franken-made 940. So why do I call this a Franken-made 940? It's because I made this knife out of 3 different knives and some aftermarket parts. Now, the other 2 knives were put back together and sold. So, I mean, I didn't lose anything. This knife did not cost me that much money to make. I have less than $150 in this knife. And for what I have for that price, I have the carbon fiber scales from a 940, I believe it's a 940-1, which originally would have come with an S90V blade. This is an M4 blade. This was from a Blade HQ exclusive. There are parts in here, the access lock, the pocket clip. Those parts are from other knives. And then you have blue titanium thumb studs, barrels, screws, and pivot. And I think that is just a beautiful knife. That also has that slim and sleek appearance. So those are my slim and sleek knives. If that's an aesthetic that you've found pleasing, why don't you show me what you have as far as knives that would be considered slim and sleek? We'll see you next time.